He is a two-time national team MVP and a two-time Olympian and played in the 2000 and 2004 Olympic Games. Now a professional broadcaster, you heard him during the past two Olympic Games in Beijing and London. Next summer, he will once again broadcast the men's and women's indoor volleyball on NBC from the games of the 31st Olympiad in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Please welcome Kevin Barnett.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks for letting me follow the Cicerettes. And that was amazing. One more round of applause for those guys. So I'm getting up there in years. I'm 41 years old now. And I've got two kids that are nearly the age of a lot of the kids that are here. They're about 13 and 11, two boys. And so there's a lot of stuff on my mind about choices. And so I thought I might come and talk to you guys about choices. You know, we make choices in life. Some are big, some are small. Some you see coming, some not at all. This won't be a Dr. Seuss poem. Some of the things you'll see, choices you make, you'll see the results immediately. And volleyball and sports are great for that. It's one reason I think business people really enjoy sports, is that in business there's a lot that goes into something that eventually happens. In sports, you get to hit a ball, and it hits the ground or it doesn't hit the ground. Somebody digs it, or you get blocked, or you get a kill. And I think you get immediate feedback from that. You know, sometimes you make decisions on where to hit, sometimes you make decisions on where to eat, sometimes you make decisions to spend your Sunday watching Jurassic Park. That was a good decision for me, or Jurassic World, I guess it is. You know, people getting eaten by dinosaurs, that's pretty much what I wanted. Some decisions are completely within your control, and I think back to my time on the national team, where I think for you guys, day 4 or 5 of this tournament, or for some who've been training, 6 or 7 days of volleyball, and you get to decide, how do I feel at the end of this tournament? How do I feel during the last part of this event? And I think back to my national team time, when we would routinely travel 30 plus hours to get to somewhere to play a tournament. USA Volleyball traveled 16 people, trying to all go in the cheapest tickets possible. 4 a.m. out of Colorado Springs, to Denver, to Atlanta, to Berlin, to Paris, to Poland, something like that. I remember a trip that we had down to Italy, and off at the end of this trip, all the players went, "Oh my God, I'm so tired. I'm exhausted. I can't possibly go to practice in an hour." And that's how you would approach it as a player, except the time that we arrived in Palermo, Italy. After 30 hours of travel, we arrived at Palermo, we pull up to our hotel, completely exhausted. And we look through the doors of the hotel, and there behind are the cliffs of the Mediterranean. All of a sudden, we weren't so tired. So we had an opportunity to go out and jump in the water, and jump off the cliffs all afternoon, and then go to practice, so nobody took a nap. And so, it's up to you how you feel. It's up to us how we felt. It was up to myself, Tom Hoff, and Eric Sullivan. Tom Hoff would eventually be a gold medalist in 2008. We decided at the end of practice at that hotel, we would come back about 10:30 at night, 11 o'clock, pitch black outside, and we would walk to the furthest point of the cliff, and we would jump off, and then have to swim the 200 yards back into the hotel. Not remembering that there's jellyfish in the water. So we're out standing on the edge of this thing, deciding who's going to go first, and rock, paper, scissors. All right, Eric has to go first. We click, slap him in the face, he goes in. Tom, you have to go next, slap Tom in the face, he goes in. Then I jump in. 20 yards later, Eric says, "Something just hit my arm." Then Tom starts screaming. And I'm like a motorboat. I think I planed all the way back. So the guys get out of the water, we get out, I'm unscathed. Eric, his arm's a little torn up. Tom has scrapes, looks like he got whipped across the entire midsection of his body. That maybe wasn't a good choice to go swimming. Maybe some of you face tougher choices than whether to go swimming or what to do with your Sunday right now. such as what club should I play for next year? Am I playing well to continue to the next level? Do I want to play at the next level? Should I continue playing other sports or focus on volleyball by itself? Do I even like volleyball? Some of you may come across that after a 3-hour practice. Or the ultimate question, maybe some of you have gotten this, where are you going to go to college? Raise your hand if you got that one recently. Yeah, there's a few people. If you haven't faced it yet, you will. And these are tough questions. Many times you won't know the result of your choices for years. You won't find out what could have been or what would have been or what the end result is. Just wait till you have kids. Then you really won't know some of the answers. As your parents who are sitting in the back, they don't necessarily know all the answers to the choices they've made. As I mentioned, I have a 13 and 11-year-old. A couple years ago, I took my oldest, who was not being a good human most of the time, and I put him on a contract. I said, you need to sign this. Here are the conditions of you remaining in my house. You will do these things. You will do them without question. If you fail to do them, you might be sleeping outside. And I made him sign it. And I was telling friends of ours who have younger kids about the fact that we had put my oldest on a contract. And the wife's question was, well, that's great. Does that work? I said, Becca, I have no idea. I do not know if that's going to work. I don't know if that will be a good choice. So just wait. You're in for some really tough questions later in your life. The worst thing is, you'll probably find yourself sounding like your parents. That's happened to me already. But let's get back to right now and talk a little bit more about some choices you're going to face as young adults and your parents' role in that. Your parents, your coaches, some of them who are here. And I'll talk to them first. Listen, adults, calm down. Your anxiety or perhaps your curiosity and excitement is not helping. It's killing your kids. It's tough enough to make these decisions without your parents on your back and the nervousness of that situation being added. The best thing your parents can do at this point, I think, is take a step back in a lot of situations. Now wait, don't applaud yet, kids, because I think the best thing you guys can do when you have a question or a concern about some big choice in your life, you have a lot of them coming, I think you guys can take a step forward and ask those that care about you the most what you should do. Let's take a look at stepping back first. Another message for those adults in the room, your career's over. We all know you should have taken that full ride to SC when it was offered. But your friend Jenny wasn't going to take it. You guys were a package. And you waited. And you waited because you were friends for life, forever and ever. All right? And everyone makes mistakes in their life. And everyone wishes they could go back and fix it, and that's a good thing. It's called personal growth. I would go back and I would not make the decision to snowboard in the off-season when I was on the national team, because we were based in Colorado, and bang up one of my knees doing it. I know, it seems like a foolish decision now. It seems like a foolish decision even right after the fact, but I was 24 years old, indestructible, and a little bored. I would eventually pay for that decision, not then, but later. So I was out of volleyball earlier than I would have been. I would like to go back and tell 24-year-old Kevin that you shouldn't be doing this. You have a lifetime ahead to bang up your body when you're not making a living with it. So you can make some choices about what you're going to do, when you're going to do it. All of your parents have made mistakes that they would love to have back. And they would love to share those mistakes and what they've done with their offspring so that those don't happen again. And I know, parents, you will get that chance. You can and you will get that chance, but unfortunately it won't come on your time schedule. You, the parent, have the ability to be available when your child asks those questions. asks for that information. Be available to give that information, and only that information, or a little more. My 13-year-old's good at telling me when he's had enough. You see, I talk for a living. I'm a broadcaster nowadays, so I have a lot of words I want to get out at all times. This has worked out in my favor in the end for a choice of career. It didn't always work out with my teammates. I don't know how many times I've heard, "Yes, Dad, yes, I get it. You don't have to say it again." Oh, but yes, I do. And one more thing. And on, the sound of my own voice. It's the greatest challenge of my life, parenting, and parents behind you understand that the Olympics, by comparison, were easy. Over in 2 weeks. Yes, you did well. No, you didn't. Had one in each of those. See you in another 4 years for a shot of it all. Parenting is never ending and incredibly challenging. And I know parents are looking up here going, "Yeah, that's easy to say, bud. Kids are only 13 and 11. It's easy